Canadian government officials who have grown more and more authoritarian with their COVID mandates seem to be panicking and hitting the emergency tyrant button over the truckers' freedom convoy. It doesn't seem to be working, though, as workers around the world have had enough of destructive, iron-fisted, rights-crushing lockdowns imposed under the guise of stopping the spread of COVID, something that a new study by a Johns Hopkins University researcher found that the lockdowns actually failed to do. The Canadian truckers are inspiring similar working-class revolts worldwide. It's prompted conservatives to note that there is finally a real grassroots movement for workers of the world to unite and throw off their shackles. And socialists are terrified of it. The truckers have been talked down to, slandered, and targeted with multiple investigations. They've been called violent, Russian agents, QAnon members, racist, homophobes, and they've been ordered to go home. They tried to tow them away, but the tow truck drivers refused. They considered calling in the Army, but the Army said, "Not our fight." Some of the counter-protesters have reportedly tried false flag operations to discredit the truckers. One attempted a hoax so laughable that it made Jussie Smollett look competent. Watch.
He's just pretending.
Oh my goodness.
He's pretending.
Now they're being threatened with arrest for peacefully assembling to protest the government. Short of shooting them or throwing them in prison for a year or so while they decide what to charge them with, that's pretty much the entire left-wing government playbook for dealing with dissent by working people. By the way, here's some of the violent criminal behavior that the left is so worked up about. That's right, these terrorist truckers are dancing to "We Are Family." They're setting up bouncy houses for kids and holding outdoor church services. Wow, I thought liberals wanted all church services to be held outdoors in Canada in February. I wonder if any of the elitists who are so angry at these truckers realize how their very privileged lives would quickly devolve if the truckers maybe all did decide just to go home and stay there, instead of delivering goods to the city dwellers who look down on them. So what do the Canadian truckers stand for? For those accusing the Canadian truckers of being white supremacist, QAnon insurrectionists, or the whole litany of tired leftist cliches, here's their statement about what they stand for, direct from their new fundraising page at Give, Send, Go. Now I warn you, this is some pretty scary revolutionary rhetoric. I quote, "We are a peaceful country that has helped protect nations across the globe from tyrannical governments who oppress their people, and now it seems it's happening here." On their now deleted GoFundMe page, they continued, "We're taking our fight to the doorsteps of our federal government and demanding that they cease all mandates against its people. Small businesses are being destroyed, homes are being destroyed, and people are being mistreated and denied fundamental necessities to survive. It's our duty as Canadians to put an end to these mandates. It is imperative that this happens because if we don't, our country will no longer be the country we've come to love. We're doing this for our future generations and to regain our lives back." That's the end of the quote. Imagine the effrontery of these peasants. They want their lives back. In retaliation, GoFundMe got rid of the Freedom Convoy donation page and said that all the funds that weren't requested to be refunded would be given away to charities that they deemed reputable. But after being hit with a storm of outrage and threats of fraud investigations by Senator Ted Cruz and a couple of red state governors and attorneys general, GoFundMe reversed itself, and it decided that donors to the Canadian Truckers Convoy will get automatic refunds. The site won't require them to apply for a refund or send the money to some other charity of the site's choosing. So for those keeping score, the only act of violence on the part of the truckers is that they helped GoFundMe's executives shoot themselves in the foot. I might be more sympathetic to GoFundMe's claims about violations of its terms of service if the same site didn't have a history of providing fundraising for various leftist criminals and violent protesters. By the way, it's worth reminding you that Kamala Harris and her staff endorsed and contributed to a fund that would bail out Minneapolis rioters who got out of jail and went right back to rioting again. Now, to prove that some businesses are actually more interested in fulfilling their mission to serve customers than into kowtowing to the leftists, the competing fundraising site Give, Send, Go accepted a fundraiser for the Canadian truckers. And at the time of this recording, it had already received over $7.5 million in donations, nearly half of their total goal. I'd say that GoFundMe is officially on notice, and if they know what's good for them, they'll cut out all the woke nonsense. I kind of hope they don't know what's good for them, though. Well, if you're sick of woke nonsense, you really should subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. You get nothing but reality right here. And by the way, if you enjoyed this video, and I know you did, please leave a like. Tell me your thoughts on this. And by the way, be sure and hope that this is the end for GoFundMe and not in the comments below. Now, there's not going to be a live stream this week or next week. We've got a lot of things happening going on, and so we're not going to do it. But hey, we will have plenty of videos uploaded for you in the meantime. If you want more of my news, analysis, and commentary, sign up for my newsletter. Go to MikeHuckabee.com. It's completely free. That's it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.